Spoilers galore. You've been warned. If you had to choose John Wick versus The Bride, who would win the fight? Also, The Woman King is on its way to be the second black female-directed movie to hit #1 in the domestic box office. Sarah Michelle Gellar is actually back in action. And, well, you know us, there's more to come after. Let's just get going. First up, John Wick versus The Bride. Who would win in a fight? The world was introduced to Beatrix Kiddo / The Bride, portrayed by Uma Thurman in Quentin Tarantino's Kill Bill Volume 1. John Wick, as portrayed by Keanu Reeves, didn't appear in our collective consciousness until 2014, instantly becoming one of the deadliest hitmen in the history of cinema. So who would win when you put these two in a room to fight it out with each other? Both The Bride, also known as Black Mamba, and John Wick are both insanely skilled in very different styles of combat. The Bride knows how to use a handgun, is a fast thinker, is very skilled in hand-to-hand combat, very capable in using single-edged weapons, can easily wield 2 swords, and her stamina and endurance are excellent. But John Wick knows his way around a whole arsenal of weapons, including shotguns and rifles, and can even eliminate targets from a longer distance. He's also not afraid to use a knife, or really anything else on hand. On top of that, he's trained in a variety of martial arts, such as Krav Maga and Jiu-Jitsu, and not to mention, a genius tactician. Both use revenge and anger as huge motivators. But when it comes down to it, we think it's The Bride who has the upper hand. It took her less than 24 hours to recover from a 4-year coma, and Wick wouldn't be able to match her quick thinking. Unless Wick got hold of a gun. Next up, The Woman King on its way to becoming the second #1 movie directed by a black female director. The historical action epic The Woman King is well on its way to become the second black female directed film to become #1 in the domestic box office. The first film ever to accomplish that was 2021's Candyman, which is the 4th installment in the Candyman franchise, and was directed by Nia DaCosta, who went on to direct huge blockbusters, like the upcoming Captain Marvel sequel, The Marvels. The Woman King was also directed by a black female director, Gina Prince Bythewood, and has quickly become a critic darling, as The Woman King currently holds a 94% critics rating on Rotten Tomatoes. The Woman King has only been in theaters shortly, following its Toronto International Film Festival premiere on the 9th of September 2022. It tells the story of General Naniska, portrayed by Viola Davis, who was the leader of a group of female warriors in the West African kingdom of Dahomey in the 1820s. In the film, we see her training a newly arrived group of women in order to fight a deadly new threat to their community. And according to Deadline, the film is doing much better than predicted, projecting a total weekend gross of about $18 million. This means the film is well ahead of its competition, and it's just a matter of time before it becomes official. The Woman King will be #1, and Gina Prince Bythewood will be the second black female director to accomplish it. And now, Sarah Michelle Gellar is back in films after 13 years of hiatus. It's been 13 years, but we always knew that she would come back eventually. Sarah Michelle Gellar has made a low-key return, with her roles in Do Revenge and Clerks 3, both of which were released in the same week. Sure, Gellar continued making small appearances on TV, like in Ringer and The Crazy Ones, but the last time we saw Gellar in a proper movie was back in 2009, when she appeared in Possession. Intentions. And then there was her reprisal of Catherine Murtoy in the TV movie sequel Cruel Intentions, which apparently is also the inspiration for her new role in Do Revenge. The Buffy the Vampire Slayer legend was in several movies before the 2008 financial crisis caused disruption problems for Geller's last movie, Possessions, which would eventually simply go straight to DVD. After that, it went a little quiet around Geller, with only a few guest appearances in shows like The Big Bang Theory here and there. But the release of both Do Revenge and Clerks 3 marks a low-key return to film for Geller, and fans are hoping this bodes well for more future projects. Buffy may have been years and years ago. Her fans are still active to this day, and we would love to see her return to films full-time. Don't you agree? Hold up, didn't we say there's more to come? Next, why Harry Styles' Eros can't work in the MCU. How the Criminal Minds revival has already made place for Reed's return, and we see what Cal from Manifest might have seen from the plane window. Let's keep moving. First up, why Harry Styles' Eros could never really work in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. The entrance of Harry Styles' Eros, introduced in the post-credits scene of Eternals, is possibly one of the most promising new additions to the Marvel Cinematic Universe roster of possible new Avengers. But what MCU fans may not be aware of is the fact that Eros has a pretty problematic backstory in the comics, making him one of the rare characters that would actually greatly benefit if they deviated from the source material. See, what makes Eros unique is his ability to stimulate the pleasure center of the brain of anyone within 25 feet of him. But, as with every Eternal, their superpower largely determines the fate of said Eternal. In the case of Eros, this leads him down a road where he'll be accused of assault, a road that Marvel is definitely not prepared to go down as well. And as the creator of Eros himself, Marvel Comics writer and artist Jim Starlin said about the character, Eros is basically a sociopath and a predator to boot. And though Marvel has been exploring more gritty stories as of late, it might not be the best decision to pursue accurate representation of the source material in this case. Instead, they may want to get rid of the entire part of the abilities of Eros, or at the very least, transform it into something else, like the power to control emotions. And by the way, love is a feeling that can be infused with any other emotion. Following how the return of Spencer Reed has already been set up in the Criminal Minds revival. Less than 3 years ago, CBS's Criminal Minds wrapped up for the final time after a 15-season run. But 15 years is a long time to get attached to a team like the Behavioral Analysis Unit, also known as the BAU, and fans were elated when the news broke that the team would be back to understand and hunt down unsubs from the small screen, thanks to Paramount+. The revival, Criminal Minds Evolution, sees most of its team return to reprise their roles, but 2 of them are noticeably missing, and one of them is Matthew Gray Gubler, who portrays the BAU's genius, Dr. Spencer Reed. It's not that they didn't want Gubler back. If anything, the cast may very well be trying their very best to convince him to change his mind, because Gubler decided to opt out because of personal reasons. After 15 years of Criminal Minds, Gubler wanted to venture out and try different things, which everyone understands and supports. But it seems everyone is keeping the door open for Reed to come back home. In the final episodes of Criminal Minds, Reed was already noticeably absent during several episodes, usually to tend to his ailing mother, but he was never written out of the series. In fact, his desk remains intact, just waiting for Reed to return. This means that all that needs to happen for Reed to return is a second season of Criminal Minds Evolution, and for Goobler to agree. Good news, right? And now, what did Cal see from the airplane window in Manifest? It's been clear from the beginning of Manifest that all the passengers of Flight 828 are special, but there's one person in particular who stands out, and that's Jack Messina's Cal. Cal seems to be the only passenger who was awake, and it allowed him to find a piece of the puzzle that may hold the key to it all, because moments before the plane disappeared from the sky, Cal saw something from his window and said, "It's all connected." There have actually been hints that what Cal saw was actually Alzura's ship in Season 2, Episode 9 of Manifest. The episode, called Airplane Bottles, opened with Cal having a dream about looking out the plane window, which is followed up with him constructing a model of a ship from memory. Remember, it was only after the passengers experienced the culling that the presence of Alzura's ship sailing underneath Flight 828 was revealed, which has been some time ago now. But having them exist in the same time is strongly suggesting that there's some kind of time travel going on here. What do you think Cal saw from the window? And that was it. Who do you think would win in a fight, John Wick or the Bride? Let us know in the comments what you think, and thanks for watching.